Imagine paying for groceries you already ate weeks ago, not because you chose to, but because you had no choice. That's exactly what's happening to millions of people right now. Buy now, pay later was supposed to make life easier. Instead, it's quietly pushing people deeper into financial stress. And the worst part, most people don't even realize it's happening. Let me tell you about Megan. She's 26, works as a graphic designer, and earns about $54,000 a year. On paper, that sounds stable, but behind the scenes, she has 7 active buy now, pay later loans. Clothes, skincare, home decor, even groceries. And yes, that last one is the problem. She's currently making payments on food she already consumed weeks ago. Megan isn't an exception. She's becoming the norm. More and more people are using services like Afterpay and Klarna not for luxury items, but for basic survival. Groceries, gas, essentials. And that shift tells you something important. This isn't about convenience anymore, it's about a gap between income and reality. The grocery financing red flag. Buy now, pay later was originally designed for discretionary spending. A jacket, a gadget, maybe a vacation. Things you want but don't need. Splitting those payments made them feel manageable. But groceries were never supposed to be part of the equation. Now they are. A growing number of users are financing food. That's not lifestyle inflation, that's a warning sign. Because if you need a loan to eat, your budget isn't just tight, it's broken. And the problem gets worse when those small payments start stacking up. Megan financed $162 in groceries. It didn't feel like much, just 4 payments spread over a few weeks. But when one payment hit her account at the wrong time, everything changed. A late fee from the BNPL provider, an overdraft fee from her bank, suddenly that small grocery bill costs significantly more than it should have. The interest-free illusion. Buy now, pay later companies market themselves as interest-free. And technically, that's true. There's no traditional interest rate. But what they don't highlight is how the fees work. Miss a payment even by a few days and you're charged. And if your bank account doesn't have enough funds when they auto-debit, you get hit twice, once by them, once by your bank. What looked like a simple $40 payment can turn into $80 or more overnight. When you break it down, those fees act like extremely high interest rates, much higher than credit cards. But because it's framed as no interest, people don't think about the real cost. They think they're saving money. In reality, they're paying a premium for delayed payments. The stacking problem. The real danger isn't just one loan, it's multiple loans at the same time. Megan has 7, each with different payment schedules, some weekly, some bi-weekly, some monthly. Payments hitting her account constantly. It becomes impossible to track. Even with reminders, things slip. This is where things spiral. You're not just managing one payment, you're juggling several, all competing for the same limited cash flow. And because each payment is small, it doesn't feel like a big deal, until all of them hit together. Suddenly, a few small commitments turn into hundreds of dollars per month, and because these loans are short-term, they never really go away. As one finishes, another replaces it. It becomes a cycle that doesn't end. The psychological trap. What makes this system so powerful is how it's designed. At checkout, you see 2 options: pay the full amount now or split it into smaller payments. Naturally, the smaller payments feel easier, less painful, less commitment, so you choose that option without thinking twice. But that's the trap. You're not reducing the cost, you're delaying it. And because the pain is delayed, your brain treats it differently. You spend more freely because it doesn't feel like spending. It feels like flexibility. Over time, this disconnect builds. You lose track of how much you're actually spending because everything is fragmented into small pieces, and those pieces add up fast.
Why it feels like budgeting, but isn't. Many people, including Megan, believe BNPL helps them budget. It feels organized, structured, predictable. But it's not budgeting, it's borrowing. Real budgeting means spending within your income. BNPL allows you to spend beyond it. It fills the gap temporarily, but the gap doesn't disappear. It just gets pushed forward. Megan thinks she spends around $450 a month on groceries. In reality, it's closer to $680. The difference? BNPL purchases that don't feel like groceries anymore. They feel like bills. That's how the system hides the truth. It separates spending from reality. The income versus expense reality. At the core, this isn't a BNPL problem. It's an income versus expense problem. Megan takes home around $3,100 a month. Her fixed expenses eat up most of it. Rent, utilities, transportation, bills. What's left isn't enough to cover everything else. So she turns to BNPL to bridge the gap. But that gap doesn't close. It grows. Every month she's short, she adds more loans. Over time, those loans become a permanent part of her finances. She's not just managing expenses anymore. She's managing debt. And that's where things become unsustainable. The credit score myth. Another hidden issue is credit. Many users believe BNPL helps build their credit score. In most cases, it doesn't. On-time payments often aren't reported, but missed payments can be, so you get the downside without the benefit. Megan made dozens of on-time payments. None of them helped her credit, but when she missed one, it hurt her score. That's the imbalance. You take the risk, but you don't get rewarded for doing things right. Why this cycle is dangerous. The biggest danger isn't the fees, it's the illusion. BNPL makes financial stress feel manageable. It smooths out the pain. It delays the consequences. But eventually, everything catches up. Multiple payments, missed deadlines, overdraft fees, growing balances. It all compounds. And because it builds slowly, most people don't notice until they're already stuck. How to break the cycle. If you see yourself in this situation, the solution isn't complicated, but it is uncomfortable. First, stop taking new BNPL loans completely. If you can't afford something upfront, don't buy it. That's the rule. Second, list every active loan. Know exactly what you owe and when it's due. Clarity is the first step. Third, focus on paying them off as quickly as possible, even if it means cutting back elsewhere temporarily. Fourth, create a small buffer in your bank account. Even a few hundred can prevent overdraft fees. And most importantly, face the real issue. If your expenses are higher than your income, something has to change. Either you earn more or you spend less. There's no shortcut around that. Buy now, pay later isn't evil. It can be useful in the right situations. But when it becomes a tool for survival, it's a warning sign. Megan isn't irresponsible. She's just trying to manage a system that doesn't work for her income. But BNPL isn't fixing that system. It's masking it. And eventually, the truth shows up. You can keep splitting payments and telling yourself it's helping, or you can recognize what's really happening and take control. Because at the end of the day, financing groceries isn't convenience. It's a signal. And ignoring that signal only makes things worse. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.